Hello, I'm Steve Olson, the Manager of Training Services for Mesa. In this video, we're going to take a look at the portion of the as-built verification workflow where we take the ReCap file from the website, download it, put it into the desktop ReCap application, and actually kind of filter out some points that are unnecessary or maybe from the background or whatever. I'm going to take a look at that workflow. So here I am in my ReCap site. I actually worked on this tank front origin previously before I did the back one in the last video. So now here I can kind of come to this little ellipsis here, and I can say I want to download some files, and it'll give me the two output files or the two output formats I had previously selected. So I'll pick the RCS, and it'll allow me to download that to wherever I want that to be. So I'll just go ahead and save a second copy of that one. So now that I have that, I can actually launch my local ReCap application and begin filtering or registering points. So now that I'm in ReCap, I can start a new scan project. And it's technically a scan project because the output from the ReCap 360 site is going to be technically a ReCap scan. So I'm going to say scan project. It's going to ask me to name this, so I'll call this new tank front origin. And I'll choose where to save this. Tell it to proceed. Now here I can add that import or that scan. So I've browsed to and found that file. I'm just going to drag and drop it into my ReCap window. And I'm going to tell it to launch the project. So you can see here's the model, but with most ReCap files I've found, especially with the photos, you'll end up getting a lot of the background objects kind of that you don't necessarily want or need in your model. So what we can do is we can actually register or kind of what they call assign some points or to kind of filter out some of this stuff. So you actually have different scan regions where we can create different groupings of points. So I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down here and I have assigned regions. I can actually create a new one. I'll call this tank, and then I can actually assign points to that location. Or I can also create another one that's, you can see there's already one that's unassigned. So here if I kind of get to maybe a top view here, with my window command, I can drag a window around what I want. And with those selected, I can say, well, I want to put those in a particular region. So I can say I want those in the tank region. Now, I can also turn off that region. So now I have all these points that I don't necessarily really care about. So I can either leave those in the unassigned region, or I can decide that I want to create maybe a new region for those. So actually if I just do a nice big window select here, I can say region, new region. We'll call this extra points. Now you could delete these. It's kind of up to you to decide, how you want to handle these. Now I'm going to turn my extra points off, turn my tank back on, and just because the way these work, sometimes you get some extra issues here. You got to kind of work through how you really want to see what you really want to get here. So I'm going to actually do some more window selections and try to really clean up what I've got here in terms of extra data. You can see because I had extra points telling it to turn that off, or that they're not visible as I add them to extra points, they're going to be hidden. Well, let's take a look at what we've got. Looking pretty good. So now I should be able to save this. In the next phase, what we'll do is we'll bring this into Inventor with the model. Now, the reason the assigning of points became important is that we can easily turn those extra points off when we're in the Inventor model. Again, we could have deleted those. It's kind of, people have mixed feelings on both sides of that. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at the email address on the screen. And also, please look for part 3 in this series where we bring this point cloud into Inventor.